All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Yesterday, we were playing some Dark Souls on stream because Magic Online was down. And we had a really, really good suggestion from Mino Maniac, who I think I saw in the chat earlier this morning, Mean asked me, Spike, what do you think about dramatic entrance with Atraxa? And I said, well, what in the world is dramatic entrance? This is not a card I've ever seen before. And the dramatic entrance is a 5-mana instant. 5 mana, put a green creature from your hand into play. And what's cool about this card is we were kind of theory crafting a similar deck with Atraxa already. I may actually have a draft of it. This version is much worse. Never ended up even getting tested, one of those ideas. But trying to play through the Breach Atraxa and like a Jeskai Shell that's playing Ephemerate. This deck looked pretty bad to me. And like one of the biggest issues is like having to jam Ephemerate into the shell and also jamming Atraxa through the Breach. Like you just don't get to play enough control cards. I guess I'm getting like a little ahead of myself too, because we were even thinking about that idea in the first place. Through the Breach Atraxa, because Through the Breach Emrakul has just not been that good a plan in modern control decks, like largely because of Leyline Binding and Solitude, also partially because of cheap counterspells entering the format. But I think playing it in what's cool about this shell when you compare this deck to like red blue Through the Breach Emrakul, which is a deck that I think has been like good in some modern metagames in the past, although it has definitely been a while, is not only is like your combo better, dramatic entrance, put Atraxa into play, I think is better in modern right now than Through the Breach Emrakul. It's just like more resilient, gives you a million cards, it stabilizes you in your control deck, which is in a lot of ways stabilizing is more important than like cheesing and winning the game. But beyond that, you're also playing a better color combo. You're like base blue white instead of base blue red, which lets you play the good cards, Leyline Binding, Prismatic Ending, Solitude, Teferi, instead of like Lightning Bolt, Fire Ice when you're in red. And you get some access to some really premium green sideboard cards. So your combo's better, your colors are better, and so my playtesting was weird last night. I was 2-0, and I was playing at Scales, and I was like pretty behind in game 1, and then the client like crashed. And like the game kept resetting over and over again. It's kind of a rare bug, but it does happen every once in a while. So I ended up just conceding to my opponent. Didn't get the most testing in with the deck, but did start off 2-0. The combo definitely felt good. Smoke got to me soon, like as soon as he possibly can, but you still have enough time to dodge. But I just wasn't ready for it. And I took like a little bit longer to kill Ornstein too, and then I went the wrong way on the dodge. Just a lot. Okay, so we're on the draw. 7-card hand. I think we mulligan. I think it's very close. That could obviously be in your range of keepables. I think you keep this and then put back the Atraxa so I can try to deluge in the combo later. Top deck, 22 months, thank you. You have a no backseat brewing day each week, have mods and force a chill day for me to cook. I mean, I don't know. I'm okay hearing suggestions and stuff, but for me, it's just like, over the negative, switch the deck, Spike, this deck sucks. These kind of comments are like just like the most like unhelpful. And like this is even like all the memes of backup deck and all the memes of all this stuff just comes from like the overwhelming negativity if like I just run bad for first few matches too. Not that I'm saying this deck is good, but when you're evaluating a deck and you're losing like due to punts, and you're losing to like bad mulligans and like rough matchups, it just takes more time than clearly the deck bad, Just takes time. Opponent's Bitter Reunion, discard Island. Okay, we'll see how our Proteus Staff matchup is. Put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. That creature's controller reveals until they reveal from the top of their library. So this is like the Staff of Polymorph. So if we hit a good matchup, the Proteus Staff matchup. Weird that they're not like a Dwarven Mind deck, right? Do I just Teferi the Staff again? Do I Deluge? Okay, now I'm just going to hold up Deluge plus Pending. Thank you, Rectal. Thank you, Pan. They are a Dwarven Mine deck, but they're just the classic basic island, basic forest Dwarven Mine deck. Good Solitude. I think I'm just going to Pending the Staff. Why do you need creativity when you could play Staff instead? Used to be a stack your deck for Beltran standard. Sounds fun. I don't think I've ever seen the card. Like this is also like so. It's just like so much more face up and mana intensive and fragile to cards. Not really sure what the idea is. Like I'm just gonna get to Solitude this pretty freely, right? I'm gonna Deluge first though, looking for a Pending or Binding, which I'll just use the Binding. I can bounce the Binding back to my hand and play another Teferi. Creativity is pretty expensive. Is it all Magic Online? Thank you, Phoenix. Staff is great in Flibble Flip Commander. Oh man, I've been wanting to play some Commander lately. Ooh, well, I was gonna bounce the Binding. Now I think just keeping this like dramatic entrance up is probably better. And then like if they go for staff, I can, you know, respawn, put in Atraxa into play, and then deal with it with like Solitude or Binding or Pending. Bring Radiation Deck to Minneapolis? Yeah, maybe. I saw. I'm gonna book my trip tonight and figure out exactly what the plan is. I think I'd take Deluge over Counterspell. No, I could probably just take Counterspell. Got enough cards, right? Was that 7? That's 6, the full 6. Not too bad. Now that we finally hit the staff matchup, which is exactly what we're trying to target. Why playing in the main event? No, I'm not qualified, but I want to go up and play some Pro Tour qualifiers and get Gabriel Nassif to sign my autograph book and hang out. We'll say hi. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hanging out with people. I need to like, I've like traveled to events by myself in the past and like not hung out with anybody, and so I'm trying to make plans ahead of time. So yeah, we can hang out with Jarvis. Gonna make some friends. I plan to go to Dallas RC. I mean, I'm local. I'll go. I'm not qualified. I recently narrowly missed qualification. I'll go for sure, though. Okay, yeah, with me, as all the Spikelings, we'll do a special one-on-one dinner with each Spikeling. Can we let the staff resolve once, please? Can probably beat it. Oh, we lose our Atraxa, but we can just start cast another one. Valakut, they're on Titan? Okay. I think I like really actively want them to use mana on Proteus staff, so I'm just not gonna. Like I could bounce it, so it's like 3 mana to staff, 3 like activate staff again. I think that's just good for me. Am I going to Athena's? I don't know what that is. Ace, 19 months, thank you. Yeah, that staff has been through a lot this game. Yeah, I mean, of course I'll buy dinner for all the Spikelings. My every plate money came in, and so I'm going to buy a Spikeling a plate. Every Spikeling a plate. That's what it stands for. If our dinner goes well, anything could happen. Oh, speaking of every plate money and anything happening, we're gonna buy Esther an engagement ring. By we, I mean me and Esther. And I guess y'all, you know. No, she knows. We were talking about it already. Yeah, if anybody who signed up for the Every Plate deal directly contributed to Esther's ring. Think she'll see yes? I hope so. So yeah, I guess they're on Primeval Titan, right? Do you know where we're gonna buy it? She has one that she likes. We're gonna do a little bit of shopping though. And by we, I mean like her, and then, you know, we'll buy it. Or I'll buy it. Perspiring Mike? Relationships are like way easier if like both parties just like talk about what they want and are, you know, just kind of just talk about what you want, and it's easy. Like this. If you just tell your significant other what you want, and it's just easy. Is she okay? Yeah, so a good way to know if your significant other is okay with you picking out the ring is to talk to them about it. Talk to them, hey, how do you want to be engaged to? Do you want to be engaged to in public? Do you want to be a surprise? Do you want it to be not a surprise? Oh, how do you want to do the ring? Do you want me to pick it out? Do you want to pick it out? That's all. It's just very easy. It's a really good way to figure out what to do. Okay, opponent's on a vault of 5. Yeah, I told Esther I wanted the Lord of the Rings ring, the One Ring. But then she said that's what she wanted first. Deck Tech for Doom, and Sakazan, the Twitch Prime. Deck Tech for Doom, huh? Oh no, you can't do this to me! I saw this! And I literally even had to ask how the combo works. Okay, my first thought is it looks like... So, I don't know, is like the idea that like your threats are like reasonable mid-range threats and you somehow assemble your 3-mana, 3-card combo over the course of a game? Is that the idea? So the combo is Blade of Shared Souls, Atsushi, and Ratabrick give you infinite mana. And infinite draw? I don't know. Infinite mana, infinite draw with Atsushi, and then you win with the One of Mayhem Devil. I don't know. Seems like a fine draft. I don't care what AO does. I remember this. People say this card is like nuts in Standard. I also don't know what Monrak does. So, I'd have to read those cards maybe. I think if I drew a blue card, it was fine to jam the Teferi. Otherwise, we're just chilling. Okay, I also say this, like, surely this combo is, like, also not very realistic to execute on Magic Online, right? My guess would be that this combo is, like, just, like, not, like, possible. Or, like, is at least, it looks like at least as bad as, Dark Pool. Maybe not. Also, like, don't you just get, like, absolutely slaughtered by Mono Green and Lotus Field with this deck? Just maybe, like, you know, fine. I don't know. It seemed very bad in terms of clicks, yeah. Lost Lotus twice. I probably would have played Trophy Mage. I still know what this does. Mondrak. Reading it now. One or more tokens be created on your control, twice as many. Is this really just so that you can click faster? Your mana is also like, oh boy. I'm not gonna force that. If I had two words to describe the mana requirements, oh boy. I don't know. I don't know what the Sideboard Assassin's trophies are for, but I don't really remember that card being like close to playable in Pioneer. I don't know what the sideboard Atraxas for the grindy matchups. Let's just take a card here. All right. Any Atraxas in the chat? It's very fun. I don't know. I was recommend not very good, but we've had like a lot of puns, Mana Flood, Mana Screw, bad matchups. But now we've entered the Proteus staff bracket, and so I think we're gonna take this one down. Sack AO for Atraxa against Rakdos. Yeah. I don't know. If you're sacking your if you've resolved a 5-drop, and then you have Eldritch Evolution, is that really how you beat Rakdos? Maybe it is. What I know about beating Rakdos. What would I know about beating Rakdos? Are these types of cards something you brew? Tribute to the World Tree? And Path to the World Tree. Yeah, I don't know what Tribute to the World Tree does. If that's the one that like puts all the gods into play, then that's not the kind of card I tend to like to build around. I mean, aren't they just going to creativity this and just binding it? Literally, what are they doing with Proteus Staff? I'm losing my mind, y'all. This card is not doing anything. I'm just gonna binding the Dwarf token, pick up my binding with the other Teferi. Like why are we playing Proteus Staff over creativity? I'm losing it. Yeah, I should let him cook. I should let him cook. Let him cook. I'm a hypocrite. Let him cook. Can't afford creativity? Maybe, huh? Probably should have binding this in response. Definitely should have binding to that in response. It's okay. This was the 5-0 dump? I'll take a look. That's funny. Did I see your World Spine Worm suggestion? I didn't, but I guess I'd be confused, like what, or wondering what the idea behind World Spine Worm is. Like, why, mostly? Okay, I was main phasing, so if I found ending plus land, I could ending this. But I could still, I guess, instant speed, exile, tokens. Token. Oh, World Spine over Emrakul on the side. Yeah, but World Spine only shuffles itself. Emrakul shuffles your whole graveyard. Did I tweet every card is good in some way? Yeah, but I didn't mean it. Wait, they're playing Archon? I thought they were on Titan. But I didn't. I also redacted that tweet, I think. Yeah, I guess just like the Natty Valakut's kind of scary. Let's have both Archon and Titan. I guess that makes sense. Can we let them resolve a staff ability so we know? I mean, we'll just die immediately. Which I guess, you know, it's fine. Sometimes you die. Thank you, Fink. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Let's go. I ain't never seen a better looking deck. Okay, we're looking for a land. We're looking for a Atraxa. We're looking for mostly one of those two. I think I can take it to Teferi. Like, turning on the instant speed pending is kind of cool. And, like, maybe see it, eat some Valakut triggers is kind of nice, too. I love to see Bitter Blossom. I really wish Bitter Blossom was good. That card is so sick. This Besage you? Just hardcast Titan. I think Dramatic Entry is going okay. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate. We've been having some bad variants early, but it was good in my testing off stream. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. This is probably not as good as Indomitable Creativity, if I had to guess. Okay, opponent's got 3 cards. We're looking for... I guess that's on the list. Yeah, I'd be like really happy if my opponent like activated Proteus. You know, like every single turn, it's like I'm evaluating, do I want to deal with the Proteus staff? And I'm like, no, I'm actually like really happy if they activate it because they're spending 3 mana to like just do nothing. Bounce Binding, Leyline Binding. No, I like actively want them to spend 3 of their mana because then they can't go like hardcast a big creature plus a staff or anything. It's like, I think it's actively good for me if they activate the staff here. Could be good to force this. They played their land, so they're not going to trigger Proteus Staff this turn or Valakut, so I should be pretty free to just hardcast Force Deluge. Trying to dig for an Atraxa. We're going to lose to Valakuts. Atraxa is a good way to handle these Valakuts, I think. I'm going to try not to go below 13. Okay, there we go. Do I want a Binding or do I want an Otawara? I think with the... I just want to hit my land drop this turn. Yeah, I'll just plus... Everything's been about how to sneak out Atraxa nowadays. Well, I don't know. I feel like the sneak, you know, the Goryo's Atraxa stuff's died down some. This is a cool way to do it, I think, also. So I'm going to hardcast Archon. I can sack Teferi if I miss on Counterspell here. Yeah, Entrance is an instant. Although it would have also been instant speed with Teferi. I did miss on Counterspell. Atraxa number 2. Ending. Island. How much mana do I have? 3. Yeah, I guess I actually sack the Atraxa, right? Because then I can just go bounce Binding the Archon. So is it just entrance is 2 less mana and instant, so a little like a flash? Like, yeah. I mean, like, one thing is, like, to remember about Atraxa is it's, like, Atraxa is undercosted. You know what I mean? Or is this just a good way to die to 2 Valakut triggers? Oh, the hate. Yeah, we just totally killed ourselves, huh? More punts, more punts. Although I guess it actually we would have died either way because they just get to kill the Atraxa on the other trigger. Never mind. Died either way. Look at that list again. The Atraxa is undercosted, so like I know it's only like 2 more mana to like put the Atraxa into play, but like at instant speed with Force of Negation up is really powerful, and the fact that Atraxa is also hard castable is like just an upside, I think. Okay, so they have no discard spells. They have 1 Besage You. Oblivion's on the board is so weird. I'm assuming it's gonna be. Oh, it's the same player. I just noticed. I think I'm gonna cut a Veto, play the 4th Ending, so I have more answers to Ren. Well, I guess Veto's maybe a better answer to Rin on the play. Keep mulligan that. Oh yeah, they're on Island. I forgot they're playing. We haven't seen like a single blue card, right? Oh, with the Proteus stuff. Obviously Proteus stuff, sorry. It's a weird game. Not a bad draw. I think I kind of like shocking here. There's like a chance that they hold a Wrenn and 6 for a turn into the 2 open mana. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But I like to bluff Counterspell sometimes with the shock lands. Yeah. 2 damage for free. You're welcome, opponent. Right on time. It's a good draw, though. They also don't have a fetch land, or seemingly don't have a fetch land. Although maybe they thought that the Wrenn is just getting countered, so they didn't play the fetch first. See that happen sometimes. Gonna veto here so I can try to get my Deluge off next turn. Yeah, sometimes I overthink the like shock to bluff the counterspell line. Maybe do it a little too often. But I just always love to do it. You feel so smart. Except exclamation point deck, modern mystical for the info. If we find, I guess we're never. Maybe if we find Force blue card and no land. Okay, find the lands. Probably could have taken a fetch land so I could have double whites, but I decided on almost all but one Solitude. Yeah, so I don't think my opponent has any counter magic. I don't think I need to play around it. Famous last words, maybe. But I could also, like, surprise block the Goblin Shaman. Best part is we do it on turn 1, play around Pierce for a few turns. Yeah, yeah. Shocking turn 1 to bluff Answer to Ragavan and stuff like Murktides work pretty well. Yeah. The tough part is, like, doing it game 1 when you don't know that they're on Murktide, but yeah. Kodiak, 3 months, thank you. Living today, yeah. Response to Treasure Photo Pierce? Yeah, I think that's gotta be correct. Dramatic entrance. 10 cards. Conveniently, Wrenn is at 7 loyalty, so hopefully they can't kill this. They have a Terminate. Uh-oh. So we need an answer to Wrenn. So we're going to take Prismatic Ending, Teferi, Scalding Tarn. Can I go... I guess I take Force over Counterspell because I can't go Pending and Teferi next turn and hold up Counterspell. Too bad we didn't find another Atraxa with this dramatic entrance, although we at least like dug 10 cards for one. You think in the blue-white deck you could cut a Deluge for a Jace for paper? Is the idea in paper you need to be able to close out games more quickly? Because, to be honest, Jace the Mind Sculptor is really not a card that does close out games quickly. I think that, oh. Well, I think I need to Prismatic Ending the Wrenn, so let's take a turn off being so dramatic. I should have zoomed out that window a little bit more. The likelihoods of a misclick there were a little too high. Yeah, but yeah, I like big tough more than Jace. Yeah, I would play a big Teferi more than a Jace, but again, if the idea is that you want to play one Jace the Mind Sculptor so you can close out games quickly, that card does not close out games quickly. Maybe even slows down the game more than having the Deluges. I don't know. Could have countered this so they can't haste the Reflection, but I think saving the Force is probably a little bit better. But I don't know. Yeah, Deluge is just the best card advantage spell in Control, and I think you just play 4. It's been my philosophy for a little bit. I mean, I don't know how much this matters. I guess there's a problem with the haste. Let's force it. And they're not killing my Teferi, which is fun. And it's very nice that we can entrance into a 2-mana counterspell probably here with 10 looks. Is there another creature we can drop in aside from Atraxa, or is that the basket our eggs are in? It's a pretty good basket, I think. I don't think that there is a better creature to put in than the good old Atraxa. Well, you do love it when your opponent makes no plays on their turn when you have Teferi in play. Typically is a good sign. Thanks, Jesse. Okay, take Binding, and then... Actually didn't hit very well here. We still have a Deluge in the yard, so I think it's pretty easy. Just go, like... Binding, Counterspell, land... Then... I think mana efficiency does matter here, right? 5... Because we can't Binding and Deluge next turn. Play this to get our other Triome. So yeah, my opponent didn't do anything last turn. Still super ahead. Yeah, not the best Atraxa hit, but still pretty good for 5 mana. Fair. Although now this lets me Deluge and Counterspell, which is kind of nice. Don't want to leave Triome Cycle deck to draw. I don't know. That's probably fine with how much mana we have, but we also have so much card. Like with the Deluge flashback, I have a hard time imagining we're going to need to cycle, but maybe that's fair. Do you replace Atraxa when Emrakul and Metani go 18-6 is a lot of power? I think definitely not. Not in this format. 1, 2, 3, 4 mountains. Well, didn't even need to use the Counterspell. Yeah, I guess we just leave the stupid Triome in the deck, though. Taking Atraxa, probably over any card. If we take just the instance. Alright, just attack them, kill them next turn. Yeah, if they have 4 spells we need to counter, we're in big trouble. Or if they cast, God forbid, Atraxa forbid, something uncounterable. Is Atraxa? I guess Atraxa an angel. What god is Atraxa an angel to? Or do you even need to do you need a god to be an angel? Can you just like graft angel wings onto yourself as a Phyrexian and declare yourself an angel? So many questions. Is RIP not great in the format currently? It's a bit. If you're asking why I'm not playing Rest in Peace, it's awkward with my copies of Memory Deluge. And Rest in Peace is like, you know, a card that you play to beat like Yawgmoth and Living End and Breach combo and Living End. We have sideboard cards. We have plans against all of those other matchups. Cast it just, you know, normally. All right, let's keep this against Gigantha. Put back Atraxa. Although maybe we'll do that in every matchup. I also do not think Emrakul the Aeons Torn is important in these decks. What I would typically like to do is play like a bunch of Seagate Restorations so that you're able to chain those together with your Omnisciences. I would probably play the 4th Thirst for Meaning. I don't know that I would play Ancestral Vision, but you can play Ancestral Vision if you like. But I do not believe, you know, very, very simply put, I think this is the most important thing to take from this deck. I do not think that Halo Forager is a card that makes a lot of sense in this shell. You also do have the Azertolds, but I mean, I would just get these out of here. I would play like 4 counter spells over this.
And then I would have your... I think your main win condition of just, like, Typhoon plus, like, Seagate Restoration, bury your opponent in advantage is fine. You would also play Lay Claim. Lay Claim is definitely not a card that I have been, like, in love with in these kind of shells, but is a card I think is okay. Just do mana efficient play here. Don't know if how many more thoughts I'm going to have. We'll see as I... Love to see my opponent missing a land drop here. Recast it versus counterspells is the only thought. Yeah, it's just not that important, I think. I would rather like play you could play Teferi Time Raveler, or you could play your own counterspells to protect it instead of like having this card be good when and only when your opponent counters your spell, you know. I guess I might need to get Breeding Pool with this. It's kind of painful to fetch Shock Breeding Pool, but going Breeding Pool into Hold Up Binding does seem powerful enough to lose a couple of life here. So many rule spells. Maybe we'll get another 2-for-1 off the Teferi, we'll see. Definitely going to use a Pending on this Kavu, don't think I want to waste a Binding. Although maybe now that I drew Force, I can use Binding on the Kavu so that I can force like a Tribal Flames or it's not really anything else. I don't think they play Iteration, so I don't know that I have more thoughts than this. But also, Hallowed Fountain requires you to be a whole extra color over just blue-white, so that's another reason to not like it. Arcane Proxy is also better than Halo Forger because it makes you stay the same colors and also can flash back other spells that potentially... I'm going to make it a video, JT, on the cards from Mom that I like. I'm working on it this weekend. Not sure exactly when it will be out. Yeah, so happy to have taken this line. Halo Forger has fair lines of play. If by fair lines of play you mean on turn 6, you can spend 6 mana to flashback Thirst for meaning, this is not something I'm very interested in. In that deck, I don't know what else it's doing besides that as far as like fair play goes. Maybe I should have let the Binding resolve. But like here, like I guess I should just be binding their Binding, right? Then bounce their Binding again. Yeah. Yeah, I always forget about like you're supposed to let it happen. Oh, here they're binding my Binding, right? Yeah, I think I messed up. Yeah, we'll just pending the Kavu now. Pretty ahead with Teferis being 2-for-1s. Oh, okay. Now only a little bit ahead. Yeah, Nox. So there's a little bit of an upgrade there, sure. Again, I don't really... I've played the deck some. I don't think you really want that effect, but if you feel like you do, then the Arcane Proxy's better. Okay, Gigant in their hand. We do need another land to hardcast Atraxa, so we're looking mostly to draw Deluge right now. Ding, 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 ding. Big winner. Plus, I think. What do I mean, Prismatic Ending with Tribal on the stack? I made a mistake. I did not play around Stubborn Denial. This is why. Just enough in deck or try to kill people turn 3-4 by combing out what's resolving missions. Yeah, but I think the controlling version does that too. Like, Proxy is just, like, not a very fast card. Is there a reason we play no sweepers in the deck? Yeah, sweepers are really high on the already really high mana curve. Atraxa stabilizes the board in a very similar way that cards like Supreme Verdict would. Or do. I think I take Binding so I can 1-mana Binding Gigantha if they have a land, and then just like have freedom of movement on my next turn. They're not going to have that many Force of Negation targets, but I think what I should do is respond with Deluge. If they have a Counterspell, I think it's important that I'm able to counter the Counterspell on the Deluge. Now let's just use Force of Negation to hold up Binding. I don't think we need to hold up Counterspell. With their hand being Gigantha, mystery card. And with the Deluge flashback, I am going to value some mana efficiency here. Oh, try to flashback Deluge. Pretty deep without finding a copy of Atraxa. I do like flashing this back now, where I can pay for stub and try to find a land for Counterspell. Perfect. I'll let that go. I guess this like does not matter at all, huh? Yeah, just do a main phase. Alright. So up again against Domain Zoo. Good to hear Existence. I think I probably want to go like in one Veil, one Force of Negation. Force of Vigor is okay. It hits Leyline Binding and Scion. I feel like it's like Agent too, which isn't very much. Maybe I like to do this. Just like 1/1/1 of the medium cards. Is Ephemerate that's kind of build with more? There's just like not a lot of room, and like we also don't really have enough good targets for Ephemerate here. But it's on a mulligan to 6. I always love playing against Domain Zoo. I like just like knowing they're never gonna Blood Moon you is awesome. I love knowing that we're never getting Blood Mooned. Yeah, let me just go Pending here, turn 2. I want to save Binding for, like, Scion. I guess we have the Force. May have their own Binding here. So they can Binding my Binding in response to the trigger. Not a lot we can do about that. I guess we could have played around a little bit by upkeeping. We could have main phase to play around Stub, because they didn't have blue mana up, which looks like we're getting punished by. Although my opponent skipped through their combat stat. They play a second Brawler, though. Let's play Teferi. Bounce. Alright, looking for a dramatic entrance, huh? Could we pay for one? No, they have a ferocious creature in play. Yeah, this is not Wild the Catalyst, this is a Shopa Brawler. But it ignores Teferi, which is pretty fair. And his Brawler 2 mystery cards. Okay, so we need like Solitude or Dramatic Entrance really badly. Okay, that was on my list. Still taking like 7, but we gained 3, so we're down to 8. She's saying is we want dramatic entrance to make a dramatic entrance. Yes. Yes, that's what we're saying. I love Jerboka's Command. I wish you could play it in more decks. I guess I should have exiled this pre-combat. Yeah, I guess so. Like the opponent like either doesn't attack, which is good for me, or attacks and still fine. And I denied the loot, obviously. Could make an argument for deluging. I think I'm supposed to bounce. Okay. If they end up Leyline Binding my Teferi, it's kind of interesting. Where I can like pitch Force and get back my Teferi, but I'm also just like a land away from Hardcast Atraxa. I do think I want to get a tap land here, though. Could instant speed pending this, or just pending this in general. Now we're definitely solituding. They could have used the command, but they discarded before declaring. No, because of Teferi. Yeah, let me just go ahead and Solitude this. And then let the binding resolve. I guess this maybe lets them double spell, huh? If I curse on stream, I do sometimes dragon, yeah. Not a ton, but it really depends on how lucky I am. I don't know. Or unlucky. I have a friend who's a teacher who said that he's put up my stream on in his classroom, which has not gone super well. All right, goodbye, Atraxa. Okay, 2-0. Good league, huh? Or a good start after a rough morning. Do we put back Otawara? No, put back the Plains. If they're, Blood Moon deck, hand is not the worst against Blood Moon. So we go Raugrin Triome, then if we cast Counterspell, we're getting Breeding Pool. Still getting Breeding Pool? And playing your Acerec deck with Elesh Norn as 5-drop of choice, and it's real good. She doubles up Muldrift and Acerec. Yeah, I thought about doing that, and I just can't bring myself to swim in the dark pool with how many clicks it is. It's just so tough. But I encourage you to dip your toes in the dark pool. Elesh Norn sounds like a good fit there. Oh, I don't want to do that. Maybe if my fingers are ever feeling up to it. Alright, they're 2 types away from Delirium, so I feel somewhat comfortable plussing. Yeah, in paper a lot easier. Okay, happy to have my opponent do nothing. One more turn, huh? One is wondering why Ranger Captain even doesn't find a combo. Yeah, it finds Ballista. Ranger Captain is infinite mana payoff, and Ranger Captain also protects your combo because you get to, especially with Tyvar in play, you can sack your Ranger Captain and then combo off. And also, what also finds you Ballista. How is working entrance? Well, we're about to entrance and Atraxa into play, Bolt. Then finish no hit run. No, I haven't had a hard time maintaining it. It's very difficult to commit the hours for like 3 hours a day for 5 months. But we've gotten close a few times. We're still doing 1 or 2 Dark Souls streams a week. We did one yesterday. Okay, let's take Harbor. Solitude, pending Deluge. Always very nice that Atraxa is not in heatable range either. Yeah, their hands are probably mostly counterspells. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so plan for this matchup still in Could be good to trim on combo, play like a couple of Chalices, even if they're Awkward Veils. Chalice is, you know, pretty good in this matchup. Maybe get the third one to play on the draw. When I pick creature, I pick Solitude. Solitude's a creature. Murktide is the matchup. Since our Murktide matchup is already good, I'm thinking about moving Forces aside. I don't know that I would say our Murktide matchup is good. I know we just won game 1. And playing some Charms main deck and cutting 1 Deluge. Charms almost as good and lowers the curve slightly. Yeah, I think that you can do that. I think that that's fine, but I don't know that I'd agree that our Murktide matchup is good, and I also don't know if I agree that Force is like great in the matchup either. I think Force is just a good game 1 card, and that helps you a lot against creativity, can help you against Murktide, helps you against control. Game 2, I'd rather have Veil of Summer than Force, I think. Still figuring out sideboard plans. Obviously, the deck can be built a little bit differently too. Is that good setting Chalice on the draw? I think a couple copies. I think you want more on the play, but I think you could still want a couple copies against Murktide on the draw. Just hit so many of their cards. Did they not play Giganta? No, they're Murktide. They don't. Murktide and Counterspells, no Giganta. Is Bring to Light possible replacement so you can go to 1 Emerge? Yeah, it is. Or what? Yeah, one dramatic entrance for Bring to Light. Obviously, like Bring to Light being a sorcery is a lot worse. I like that thought a lot. I think that would be a different build. That would be like that would be a different build where you're playing more sorcery speed with like Omnath probably and Rin and 6. But I like that thought a lot. I can do some work on it. This is a hard matchup to mulligan in, and my opponent's on a mulligan to 6. I think against an opposing mulligan to 6 against Murktide, I'm going to keep this. If we draw any white card, we can Solitude or Ragavan. And this hand is also like really equipped to play a longer game, which is more likely post-board. They do have the Ragavan. Let's just draw a white card real quick. Yeah, well, this is the worst case scenario. I feel like this needs to be a Growth Spiral deck to make 4 Force actually do anything. Yeah, Growth Spiral is a card you can play. It's a card I wanted but had a hard time trying to fit in. We're up a game. When it finds an island, we're looking for a white card. Thoughts on 4-color Lucci piles in Modern? They're like better than they look, but they're still not that good. I mean, in the sense that you want some action for the pitch cost that doesn't eat away at your combo. Some action for the pitch cost that doesn't eat away at your combo. I don't understand what that means. Like, it's not, are you saying that Growth Spiral is a bad card so you can pitch it to Force? Because it's like, just play a good blue card and pitch it to Force when you need to, you know? Or like if it's Deluge over Spiral, both these cards pitch to Force in the same way. Cards that pitch to Force to do something while not making your combo worse. Yeah, but so does Deluge. I don't know. It's like the card you would cut is Deluge. I think Deluge is more important, but I'm not sure. I really don't like that you can't turn to Spiral and Binding. Or you could if your mana was built maybe differently. I think I'm cycling. Cycle main phase, look for a... I'm gonna get Breeding Pool, I think. Oh, worse against Blood Moon. Look for a white card. Nope. Thanks, Fran. I mean, Force becomes bad if you don't play 14 cards in its color. Yeah, but we're like 19. It's like not even the combo, right? I'm just confused. Like any card that is blue, is it like effectively exactly the same as Growth Spiral? You know what I mean? It's just like they just all pitch to Force in the exact same way. There's like no difference in any blue card. We're gonna have to win game 3. No, not gonna be writing articles for cool stuff for the time being. That's true. Miss Hall Griffin is the goat of pitching to Force. Probably could have got Plains there instead, because I could draw like Hinterland Harbor, Hardcast Solitude. We're also probably just going to die. Do you think Moxamber, Skrelv, Kimba, and Teferi is a package viable in Hammer Time? I mean, Hammer Time is a pretty tight deck list. It's not like you just have room for a 16-card Moxamber package, but Moxamber is not even that good. Okay, let's bring in the 4th. Chalice. Maybe I just go down to 3 Dramatic Entrance, 2 Dramatic Entrance, 3 Atraxa. Yeah, the overlay always gets broken after Magic Online updates. Oh, they won Spiral for green card count. Okay. Okay. I get it. I'm on board. I like that thought for sure. I don't know how to fit it in, but that is a good thought. Alright, Sneep. Thank you, Red. I was thinking about playing Chalice on 0 on turn 1, because I have another Chalice for 1, but the problem is, if my opponent spell pierces the first Chalice, I'll really have regretted playing the first one on 0. Would have worked out better the other way this game. And I kind of like just solituding this now, probably. I will play this one on 0. I don't want to give them any selection to get out of these the Chalice. Mostly just this one, not this one so much. Scared of Ledger Shredder. Wow, surprise on the tank in the Shredder. Oh, tank, I didn't know if they want to use the bauble. Well, rewarded for playing out the other Chalice. Looking to draw Teferi Time Raveler, Prismatic Ending. Mostly one of those. I'm gonna get the other Triome here. Obviously, we need to fix our green mana a little bit. It's not a white source, which I know is a little awkward, but that's a white source. They might be thinking about double 1-drop here. We just Chalice on 2 here. Okay, so now our Solitude is gonna resolve unless they have like Archmage's Charm. Maybe they have Otawara again. But now, like, assuming they don't have Brotherhood End or Season Pyromancer Blood Moon, they'd probably have Blood Moon. Their main card is just Murktide. Yeah, Dispute is castable. Yeah, there's some cards for sure. They might fire off two cards here to get a Connive. Prismari Command. I don't know if I've ever seen Prismari Command out of Murktide. We also didn't show them Chalice in game 2, so I'd be somewhat surprised if they had Brotherhood in, but like good beats. Like it's not an unreasonable card for them to bring in. They didn't play any like Connives or anything. That's a good one. Yeah, I see a lot of Abrades in Murktide lately, which always feels so, like, mediocre. So hopefully this is not like Spyro into Murktide. Spyro says it's the Bingu list. Yeah, I've been seeing Spyro a bit more often. Solitude. Oh, that's better even. Maybe if I land Atraxa. I'll just take Binding Deluge. Abrade is much better than Brotherhood End. I think that's kind of a funny thing to say. Like, Abrade is lower on the mana curve, instant speed, more versatile. But Brotherhood End, like, is like 3 mana win the game a lot of the time. But maybe I just play too many food decks to say that Brotherhood End, or to, like, you know, to talk about this. I'm so biased. Wow. Deck for Frost. Very, very surprised to see Fury in against me post-board. Yeah, but it's definitely not, you know... I think it's definitely not true that one is better than the other. They're just different. So many Pioneer deck techs lately. The land so I could hardcast Atraxa. And it's nice to like not worry too much about Lightning Bolt and stuff. I think I'll just go, you know, Teferi, bounce a token, probably just take 2. Have Deluge flashbacks, you know, on the ready. Okay, I mean... So this, I mean, I see a lot of things here that I just really am not a big fan of as far as like deck building goes and deck building and Pioneer goes. So like one, I'm not a very big fan of playing 3-color mid-range decks in Pioneer. I think almost always it's going to end up being better to play a Rakdos mid-range specifically. Your card quality is a lot higher, but a 2-color mana base for tons of utility lands and very smooth mana. These 3-color mana bases are functional, but they are just a lot worse. I also see a million 2-ofs in this deck. Like you're playing 2 Glissa, 2 Shieldred, 2 Thalia, 2 Tireless Tracker, 2 Invasion, 2 Rin and Realmbreaker. And I know a lot of these are legendary, but in Pioneer you just like really 2 Bankbuster, 3 Wedding Announcement. Some of these cards are better than other cards. It's just like some of these are just going to be better than your other ones. They're going to be your premier, like, you know, mid-range threats. Let's just identify which ones are the best and play them. I don't know which ones are the best. You know, play 4 of them. I don't know which ones are the best because I don't play a lot of Pioneer. I don't know. Is Wedding Announcement better than Glissa or Rin? I don't know. I'm also going to have to like play with Rin a little bit to find out. See, if they have Flusterstorm, I can pay for Flusterstorm. So if they cast another spell. So they are casting another spell. And then they're going to Flusterstorm. And then I'm going to Binding the Seasoned Pyromancer and really hope not to get Murktided. I'll have some outs to Murktide if they do. So I don't know. I don't know. Like that's one big issue I find. I would love to get this deck down to like, assuming that you're like, so like one thing is I feel like you guys are always, you like green black players are always so married to this like Grim Flayer, traverse the Uvid Wall, play 1 Emrakul the Promised Land. This is something y'all are always so married to. That plan is I think not very good. What is this? Blood Moon maybe? Blood Moon's fine. Yeah. It's not great. Turns off a lot of things here. 4, 5, 6, 7. Turns off my Counterspell, but I think not getting Flusterstormed again is kind of nice, potentially. Well, only 2 spells, but we'll take both of them. Doing okay. I also like really like Vanishing Verse, or like I have liked Vanishing Verse. I always feel like this card is like so good. If I was going to play an Abzan deck, Vanishing Verse in the past has been one of the main reasons, and I would just want to play 4. The more I don't know if Ferdinand Runbreaker is good. The more I like think about the card, the less I like it, if I'm going to be honest. But it could still... It is still a card like I'm interested in playing with and casting and evaluating after some time. If I shock, I have Counterspell plus Solitude. I think I'm just going to play it tapped. I don't feel like I need to have the Counterspell up. So again, a lot of loose thoughts here on a format I don't play that often. So it's hard for me to like really give you too much more feedback. Oh, they have the Chalice on too. Thank you. Almost was a deck tech punt. Net, 5 months, thank you. They didn't replay the Blood Moon, which is interesting. Alright, they just give up. Great, 3-0. 3-0 feels good to beat Murktide. Do you mind giving quick TLDR? I mean, the biggest thing is I don't play a lot of Pioneer Frost, so it's hard for me to... Biggest thing, I don't play a lot of Pioneer, so it's hard for me to say too much, but I really don't like being 3-color mid-range decks in Pioneer. I think the Traverse Emrakul package isn't very good, but also like these like new upgrades from Mom don't significantly improve it. I also dislike that you're like a mid-range deck that's playing so many 2 and 3-ofs. 2 Bankbuster, 3 Reunion, 2 Thalia, 2 Ren. Like you have so many 2-ofs. Some of these threats are better than others. You just need to play 4. 4 of your good threats in Pioneer. Your best threats, even if they're legendary, or you know, maybe you just split a Thalia Shieldred specifically, but like Tracker or Wedding Announcement or Bankbuster, Ren, they're gonna, one of these is gonna be the best. Just play 4 of your best cards. I also really like Vanishing Verse. I'd like to see more, but again, it's hard for me to do too many Pioneer deck techs for like these like mid-range decks specifically, where I don't like they're like almost always gonna be worse than Rakdos, and I don't play enough Pioneer to like have like the juicy, tender tech for these like Abzan Traverse decks, you know. Why Atraxa no Progenitus? Mostly because Atraxa is like 1,000,000 trillion times better than Progenitus. Like I think turn 5 Progenitus in Modern, most decks would beat that. Most decks are able to just like combo through, attack around it. That's a like turn 7 clock. It's a turn 7 Goldfish. Yeah, I'm planning TV LCQing at Dallas. Will I ever have any interest in playing Alchemy formats? Well, it's hard to say how your interest will change, but right now I don't really have many. Reckless Griffin, the best mid-range decks. Yeah, it's just tough. Like I've played a lot of these green-based mid-range decks in Pioneer. I don't think these new cards really change very much. And it would also like it would take a lot for me to want to play a 3-color mid-range deck of Pioneer. And like Thalian the Get Rug Monster, maybe that card's ridiculously good. Oh no. But it probably isn't. Fuck. This is the worst matchup probably. That being said, if we can turn 5 Atraxa, which so if you draw a land for Deluge, we're not unlikely to even. There's the land for Deluge. Kind of punished for getting Breeding Pool. I think Atraxa can stabilize. It's just hard for the Atraxa to be fast enough. Wait, so why is Progenitus not playable Modern? It's not playable because it will win you no games at all. You will never win with Progenitus is the main reason. If I could pinpoint one reason why you shouldn't play Progenitus, it's because you will lose every single game you play with it. It's like a turn 5 Progenitus is bad. It's like actively bad if that's your game plan. It is so bad against every single deck in Modern is the main reason. It's just not close to good enough. Atraxa has lifelink and vigilance and draws you like 5 cards. Atraxa is great. Atraxa is sick. Oh yeah, that's true. We can still trophy because losses to dredge do not count. That is right. Okay, my opponents have at least 2 goals. Okay, we're super dead. The good news about dredge is you can concede really fast. Definitely bringing in the 4th fours. Prismatic Ending, pretty terrible. Veil doesn't even stop it. Veil can't even be a good guy card. Yeah, Omnath loses the rate. There's just like, I'm even like looking. Let's look at modern decks and see if we can find one that a turn 5 Progenitus beats. Alright, keep this. Murktide, no. They're just going to fly over you really easily. Creativity, no. They're going to make you sack it to Archon. Hammer time, definitely not. You're getting hammered. Rhinos, maybe. You're probably being attacked around. Rhinos, you know, also has a lot of counter magic, but Rhinos were the closest so far. Scam, they have a lot of unblockable with Grief and Voidwalker. They also put so much early game pressure on you. Burn, definitely not. Omnath Racist Progenitus. Titan, definitely not. Yawgmoth, definitely not. Living In, definitely not. Domain Zoo, almost definitely not. Yeah, just any of the decks. They're just, like, not even close. Oh, turn 2 Counterspell, not very good against Gemstone Caverns, huh? Rhinos playing Murktide. Yeah, the Murktide tech in Rhinos is really funny. Where, like, it was, like, somewhat stock at the beginning of MH2 or towards the beginning of MH2 to play, like, 1 Murktide. And now it's, like, making a comeback largely because it's probably better than Becomaments. And it's funny that people are so surprised. It's just, it's been around for a while. Yeah, Caverns and Dredge has been pretty stock, too. But Atraxa stabilizes and plays offense and defense and draws you 5 cards, or usually 5 cards. Oof. How about Hellraiser and Rhinos? You just don't have 7 cards in your yard fast enough, maybe. Triple red is also a nightmare. I think one thing for Hellraiser is I really underestimated that triple red casting cost. Yeah, against Mill, although you're probably not fast enough. So they found a... Or maybe they just always had it. This is only their turn 2. They only have 1 Dredge, but they get to go Creeping Chill, hit Ghoul, hit Amalgam. And they have Ox of Agonis for next turn. This matchup's super, super rough. Very intentionally just not playing any Dredge hate cards today. Deck Tech, how about some dragons? Alright, let's see them. Right on time, Force. Every Deck Tech today has been Pioneer. Oh boy. There's a better Draconic Roar. There's like a strictly better Draconic Roar. Can someone find that card for us? Or like almost strictly better. Wait, Nadar is a dragon? Okay, that's pretty cool. This card is also sick. What the hell? Is it Dragon's Fire? What is it? Yeah, Dragon's Fire. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. 3 damage to creature player. If you reveal the dragon or choose a dragon, each cast spell deals damage equal to the power. Okay, so yeah, not strictly better. I thought it also dealt damage to the player. But this card, like being able to kill like bigger creatures by revealing your dragons, I think is really relevant. I mean, you also have Invasion of Tarkir, so maybe that's too many 2-drops. Okay, I'll say this. I think, like, if you want to build Boros Dragons, fine. I think that Gadrak and Shivan Devastator are both pretty underpowered. But, like, your deck is going to be underpowered anyways. Your curve is just, like, too high, and you're dead to all the combo decks in Pioneer forever. But maybe that's fine. Okay, Phyrexian Dragon Engine's also like not... doesn't seem that playable. So maybe you're just cutting the Dragon Engines for the Draconic Roar. You don't need to play like 20 dragons. 16 is probably plenty. Storm Breath I remember like being okay. It's maybe too many 5-drops. Maybe AO is just broken. You can play the 4th AO. Everybody always talks so highly about that card. Okay. Got through the Dredge bracket. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. Beijing, 10 months, thank you. Okay, League paired before predictions up now. Goldspan. I like Goldspan Dragon a lot. I don't know, maybe you could play the 3-mana Sarkhan. You could play like the 3-mana Sarkhan over Dragon Engine, and then you could play more 5-mana dragons to ramp into them with Sarkhan. That could be something. But good luck, looks very fun. Is this A plus B better than Emrakul, Gristlebrand, Breach? I think yes, or at least better than Emrakul. It's just like not being like even like good against Furies, against Solitude Binding is just really nice. Not being so weak to them. Not that there's a million, not there's like a million of those effects in the metagame or anything, but I do think that this is better. But is it good? Is this 5 mana put a big creature into play good in a control deck? That's kind of TBD. It is nice that Atraxa is also like really hard castable. Like she's just like a good top deck in the late game in your control deck, which is, you know, something you want as a control deck to have. Lots of good top decks. Up against Creativity. Happy to have all these Force of Negations for this kind of matchup. Let's just go get Spell Pierced real quick. I think Dredge is well positioned. Does it happen that a lot of new brews have a rough Dredge matchup? Well, a lot of brews I play have a rough Dredge matchup because Dredge isn't that popular. So I'm not like playing Sanctifier and Vec or Rest in Peace in this deck sideboard so I can beat Dredge. I think a lot of decks, you know, are playing a lot of Graveyard Hate in general though, or at least like Scam is playing like 10 Graveyard Hate cards minimum. And then there's also like a decent amount of decks as Dredge that you can just lose to even if they don't have Graveyard Hate. But I would say that I would say Dredge could be decent. I think that is a good fine word to use here. Is there a plan to side out Dramatic Entrance ever? I've trimmed Dramatic Entrance a few times. Yeah, there's a lot of Endurance, but Endurance is also like, it's not bad against Dredge, but it is like the worst Graveyard Hate in the format against Dredge, probably. No, so we didn't beat Dredge. I just didn't update the record. We're 3-1. Yeah, I discussed Wilderness Wreck. The problem is it's really hard to build this deck with Wreck and have enough card types for Atraxa. That was something I was really having a struggle balance, but you could figure it out maybe. Someone had a really good suggestion of trying to play 4-color Omnath with Bring to Light, and that way you only have to play, you can play just one Dramatic Entrance as a Bring to Light target, which I thought was interesting. I think I'm taking second Entrance because of Counter Magic and the ability to find another Atraxa off the first Atraxa. Feels really bad to just not find a land off the Deluge. But here we get to go like binding their binding. Bounce here. Still don't find a land. Maybe I could have deluged first. Don't know. That's like, was it? That's 5 looks at the 5th land. 6 looks. 6 looks. Yeah, sucks. They did Mr. Land Drop last turn, so they have to have exactly like Dwarven Mine plus Creativity to really get us. Still ahead on mana, I guess. Well, thankfully, Crick, you can spend money for deck tech. But no sympathy deck techs here. I don't think I'm supposed to be putting them on Spell Pierce right now. I'm just going to main phase this. Dramatic Entrance is really the strongest variant of this card. A huge step down from Legacy. Yeah, I mean, Modern is like definitely so much worse at cheating big creatures to play than Legacy is. That's like always been the case. It's like even almost even feels built into the like format's identity. I definitely want to prioritize being mana efficient here. When is the best time to submit a deck tech? I mean, whenever's fine. I typically prefer not until like the last match if we're playing, if like a prediction's on the line, but whenever. And like just accept like I might take a little bit of time to get to it, right? Definitely like to find a Force of Negation. We have 3 of them and we've got 10 looks with Atraxa. Another Atraxa to like do this again is nice. Do you find Force, Otawara, Pending, Solitude. Pretty good. Don't even have to go to discard. Discards Archon and Prismatic Ending. I do think that this is probably the big matchup. Like, when you compare this to normal blue-white control, this is probably the matchup you get a lot of equity in. All these Force of Negations being good in your deck is a big deal. Yeah, I guess well... Yeah, we have the Deluge flashback. Are we happy if they bounce? We're really unhappy if they have like Binding in their hand. But maybe we are. We just pitch and then bounce. Alright. Up a game. Up a game. Did we bring in Veil? Probably not. I think just like this. Use the restroom too, be right back.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. Got a keepable hand. When it's on a mulligan on the play,
What's up? It's
all
me,
good
your friend
news.
Aspiring Spike.
I'm looking to invest in places like creativities. Do you think there's a decent chance against the axe? No, I don't think that creativity is very high on the list of bannable cards. But yeah, Wizard does mostly do things at random. But I think if they honestly, like, the banning of Wrenn and 6 would be like way more reasonable if they were going to ban something out of the deck. Because like one big part of like why creativity is so good is that being a Wrenn and 6 deck just lets you mulligan to 5 super easy. You just can mulligan to 5 with no cares or worries in your life. Alright, so do I need to hold up a counterspell this turn for Teferi and or Fable, or can I just slam the Binding? And I think I should hold up a counterspell. Did all Legacy decks play Deathrite with Azegal? No. I don't think there's any banned card that all Legacy decks played, or any like all decks played before it was banned. But Deathrite Shaman was a really ubiquitous card and was a very good card. Yeah, no. Mental Misstep. Mental Misstep is like as close as you're gonna get. Okay. I think Deathrite Shaman would be an interesting addition to Modern. With Peace and Love, the Deathrite Shaman discourse is so boring. In my opinion, I don't feel like that. It is a very interesting dialogue. The same boring dialogue tree over and over again. It also like it also always comes from people having the belief that if a card is not broken in a format, it should be unbanned. I don't share that belief. I am always of the belief that a magic card, if you unban Deathrite Shaman and it is just going to be in so many top decks, you're just going to see at least 8 copies in the top 8 of every single tournament forever. It is just always going to be in the top 8 of tournaments until it's banned again, or just inevitably. You've made a mistake, I think. I think Deathrite Shaman being hybrid mana and going in so many decks and like going from banned to huge format staple that you see nonstop. I think that is just not that interesting. I would just not almost ever be in favor of unbanning a card like that. Tape 12 months, thank you. It would not, but it's again, it would not be a broken card, but there are so many cards on the modern ban list that would not be broken, but I would still prefer to just leave ban. I'm gonna let this resolve. That could be said for Lightning Bolt as well. This is another thing, is that there is a really big difference between, in my opinion, unbanning a card and banning it. I have completely different philosophies on banning a card versus unbanning them. I think it's a very different action being taken. Lightning Bolt is also like mid as hell. Like Deathrite Shaman is way better than Lightning Bolt. It is so much better than Bolt. They're like in a different tier of cards, in my opinion. Ever tried to Blue-Eyed Arcanist? Yeah, I've cast Arcanist a few times. Always wanted it to be a little bit better than it is. This Dwarf Beatdown's gonna be pretty good. I'd like to see Entomb power level in Modern. Entomb would be really good. I agree in the sense that I would like to see graveyard decks buffed. I think Bridge from Below is a card that would be like should not have been banned in the first place. It would be like a really safe unban, but it also probably wouldn't do too much. It's really bad against the Incarnations. But Bridge from Below, I think graveyard decks in general could use a buff. Not Faithless Looting, of course, but maybe something that's in between Salvaging Mending and Faithless Looting. Yeah, you can't say ban in chat, which is great. Let's just Solitude the token, I think. Probably 17 months, thank you. Yeah, I think Careful Study is also like a little too good. Like there's design space. Like I think like a card that's like 1 mana. What I want, I've kind of proposed this for a while, is like 1 mana, draw a card, discard a card for red or blue, and then flashes back for like 2 mana in the other color. That could be a fun card, something along those lines. Thing is, Image 3 will take up power level again? Probably. But we're still like a long way away from that. Hapless Researcher? Hapless Researcher would be cool. I would definitely actually, I would like that one a lot, to be honest. What if we just ban Sanctifier? Can dream. No, Image 3, I thought Image 3 was confirmed. But like next year or the year after? I think it's like 2025. I can't remember. Yeah, I'd be shocked if they never did another one. But like every 2 years seems like a fine number. Who wants an Image 3? I want an Image 3, but I'm also like super biased because I need new cards to eat dinner. We got Veil of Summer up. Ain't looking too good. Let's see if they like cited any other creatures. Okay, no date for the new cards or new sets. So Modern will be a 2-year rotating format. Yeah, probably. They're bringing Chalice. Here's one thing I always think is so funny about the rotating format comment is like Modern has always been a rotating format. It is I don't know if there's ever been, if you've ever been able to look at Modern from a wider window of 2 years, and recognize the metagame. You know what I mean? Modern has always been a rotating format. And I don't know, it's just not that likely to change. Yeah, there's still decks you can invest and play in for a long time. There are staples though, like Cryptic Command, Liliana, Tarmogoyf. Mm-hmm. But even then, it's like Liliana the Veil and Tarmogoyf were like also like not played, or even Cryptic Command. Like none of those cards were played before Modern Horizons 2. Like, or they saw a similar amount of fringe play that they do now. I don't know. They see a little bit more play now than they did, but like people forget, I think, very easily that the period between MH1 and MH2 had some of the most broken games of Modern you've ever seen. Like, they were much worse than they are now. I don't know. I don't know. These comments are always... This conversation's so tedious. We have it every day. Don't need to have it again. It is what it is. Existed during COVID doesn't count. I don't know. I mean, I was here every day playing it. You know what I mean? But that is why I think a lot of people don't remember, because they weren't playing, right? Because of COVID. Yeah, Cryptic was really good with Mystic Sanctuary. That is true. Ah, what a time to be alive. The problem is when expensive cards that reshape the meta needs to be played without having any viable replacement. I mean, these are a lot of buzzwords, but you know what card replaced Cryptic Command? Counterspell. That card's like 10 cents. Maybe a little more than 10 cents, but you know what I mean. Second Spell Pierce. So good here. You have to force. It's close, though. When I start playing Modern... It was in like the Splinter Twin Birthing Pod era. I remember I bought Twin and the Twin deck got banned. Like, I got to play one FNM before Twin was banned with Twin. Yeah, where lands. Thought about alternative designs for fetch lands? I mean, they would basically be pathways, right? Or just like not exist. I mean, fetch lands are a huge design mistake. They're also awesome and really fun to play with, but they're just way too good. Do we have Force Rin and 6? Not at this point. We're just binding it. Yeah, Prismatic Vista, I think, is a well-designed fetch land. You from the future? How'd you know this was coming down? Yeah, I'm not saying ban fetch lands, of course, but they are. I am saying they are broken. There's a lot. I mean, a lot of things in Modern is just like you have to find something broken. You know, you've got to play something broken. Stop with the 1-mana counter magic. Alright, Atraxa Waiting Room. Is the biggest power issue. Yeah, I guess fetch lands being able to get non-basics is probably the big design flaw. Alright, I think we're just gonna have to be in top deck mode. I think if my opponent also has creativity, I don't think I have the luxury of being able to beat that, so let's just use our mana now. Top deck and Atraxa. Yeah. Like, you know what? It's kind of the same for EDH, or similar for EDH, where like I think EDH would be a better format without cards like Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Grim Monolith, Ancient Tomb, Mishra's Workshop. but I also like I don't want to workshop. I own all the other cards. I play them with my EDH deck, and I love playing them. So it's just like sometimes things would have been better probably if they never existed, but they're just too attached. They're too fun. Jeweled Lotus, yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I don't. Oh no way, we drew Atraxa. It was just main phase hit our land drop. My opponent's already used 3 1-mana counterspells. Let's go! Yeah, my commander's 1 mana, so I don't have to worry about Jeweled Lotus. Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's really 10 cards. Okay, still very good hit. Right, yeah, Mag is my commander. I also have a Slinvada commander deck. But I've been like fantasizing. I should probably just proxy it. But I've been kind of wanting to build a. I've been wanting to build a. Whatever it's from the. Blah 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 blah. The Warhammer commander decks, the artifact creature that can. The like 5 mana artifact creature from Warhammer. What's that card called? That lets you cast spells by paying life. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. I know we don't have all the commander players in the chat. Kirik? Is that the name of the card? I think that is. Like this Kirik, Son of Yawgmoth? No, not that one. It itself is an artifact creature, whatever it is. I remember that. Because I remember, yeah, this is it. Yeah, Anorak the Traveler. When it attacks, you can play artifact spell from your hand or graveyard by paying life. So I would love to like cast it on turn 1 with Mishra's Workshop. I really, really want to cast that card on turn 1 with Mishra's Workshop. Mishra's Workshops are not a card I'd ever buy, but just like too much fucking money. But I would love to. It just sounds so cool. Obviously you need like other artifact mana too. Yeah, I'll just proxy one. Why not flashback? So I can hold up interaction this turn too. Although I guess I could have just held up mana. I didn't need to hit my land drop. But also it would feel really good if it was a real one, but I'll never buy a real one. Although I did say, Esther, I'm buying you this engagement ring. You want to buy me a Mishra's Workshop? She said no. Although it'll be a great time to get in a big fight with Esther to buy an engagement or a workshop instead. Just kidding. I don't know. There's just so many other things you could buy with $2,000, and that's even for a shitty one. Thoughts on Hardened Scales in Modern? I'm excited to play some of the new cards. I think the new cards are appealing. Yeah, just cast Counterspell. Maybe Solitude plus Binding is a bit better. It's like a lot more mana efficient. But I'm still just going to cast a Solitude into turn. Yeah, I don't know. Tech for Cool Kid. Looks like a good channel. Take a look. Rings have no resale value. Workshop only goes up with time. Probably a little resale value. That is true. Maybe it's an investment. Version 3. Let's go. Excited to see where we're at. Let me win the game real quick. We got Chancellor of the Tangle out here, huh? We're in deep.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Okay, so we 4-1 this league. After a pretty rough start today. I don't know, I like the deck. I think there's a few different shells we can play it in. I'm interested in trying it with Bring to Light. And I think I'll work on that off stream tonight. But I don't think I have time for a full another week of this. But we can. I've been wanting to sometime this week